Let's get ready to rumble. 12 rounds for the WBO Middleweight Championship of the World. The referee for this bout is Joe Cortez. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he's wearing the royal blue trunks and weighs an even 159 pounds. From Brockton, Massachusetts, his professional record, 29 victories against only 5 defeats and 2 draws. 21 of those 29 victories by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, rockin' Robbie Sims. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with white trim, he weighs an even 160 pounds. He's from Yonkers, New York. His professional record, 30 victories against 6 defeats and 4 draws, 18 by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Cobra DeWitt.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the room. Remember what I said, keep me a clean fight and protect yourselves at all times. Shake hands, good luck to both of you.
Well, just an observation, as you look at Robbie Sims. Sims, of course, both these men for that matter, and as we've touched upon on a couple of occasions already, in a pivotal situation. Doug DeWitt, and this is just an observation, has come in stone cold.
He does not. He's not sweating at all. He doesn't look like he's really warmed up as well as he might be.
Although Sims is not a guy who is really going to go after you early in the fight. At least that's not been his history.
The only time he did do that was against John Collins in a big fight, got him out early. That was one of the cases where he did. That was considered a surprise, though, as you say.
Well, there isn't any more motivation needed in this fight than the simple fact that a career will go upwards or downwards as a result of it. Question mark being asked, or the question being asked, I should say, about Doug DeWitt is, does he still have the punching power?
And what about that rock-hard DeWitt chin, which once was... So he took punches from Tommy Hearns, from the best. Don Lee, who was a big puncher at that time in the middleweight division, never wavered. We saw him get knocked out by Jose Quinones in a shocker, but then that knockout by Colombe was even more of a surprise.
Scar tissue under the left eye of Doug DeWitt. Quick right hand by DeWitt.
Good hooks by DeWitt, and that's exactly what he needs to do. Now, he might have rocked Sims with those short hooks. He did.
And a right hand, Sims countered with a right hand of his own.
The key to this fight, I said it in the last fight when I broadcast it, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it because it's the key. Doug DeWitt has got to take a step to his left and crank up that left hook. It is that simple. Throw it to the body and throw it to the head. If he does it, he can win. If he doesn't do it, he's going to have to really get lucky with the right hand to win. And the proof was in this first round when he threw that double left hook and it hurt Sims. He's got Robbie Sims rocked, just as he did in the early part of their first fight, Barry.
Yeah, he lost the fight in the last 3 or 4 rounds. He feels in his mind that he won the fight. He felt it was close, but he did feel that he gave the fight away in the final 2 rounds.
No, I don't believe he won it because I think he did give it away. But this early part of this fight is, in a way, a kind of a replay of that. Well, now Sims boxing more, which is what he wants to do.
Actually, it was DeWitt's left hand. It was the best of that series.
There it is. What a good left by Sims in response.
So a left and a counter left. And again, the same story, only it was a right hand by Sims.
I felt going into this fight that whatever would happen, there would be a lot of punches landed, and that has happened already in this first round.
And there is a little reddening. We talked about the scar tissue under the left eye of Doug DeWitt, and it's already a little bit red. So we come to the end of the first round, and it was a first round that was a little bit more than a feeling out process. Round, 12 rounds for the WBO Middleweight Championship. Robbie Sims in the blue, Doug DeWitt in the black. Take a look at our punch profile from round number 1. DeWitt, the busier of the 2. Sims, the more effective of the 2.
Oh, that's interesting. I ended up scoring that round for DeWitt, and normally I wouldn't score it for the guy that lands bigger shots, but more.
3 left hands that time by Doug DeWitt to start the second round.
It's so patently obvious to me. I mean, It's amazing. Sometimes you see a bout in which the strategy of one man that could get him a win is so obvious that it just boggles your mind why he wouldn't do it more.
The right hand by Sims.
There's the hook for DeWitt. He should be constantly moving to his left to be able to throw that hook. Instead, he's moving to his right. Sims is showing us flashes of that hand speed, which is, of course, one of his key attributes. He can put his punches together. There you see something else about Robbie that he doesn't like. He tends to lunge a bit.
He also has a tendency to hold, to grab a little bit with the left hand, to grab DeWitt's left hand.
There's the hook by DeWitt, but he was in the wrong position to throw that shot to the body.
And blood from somewhere. I have to see where.
When
there was the left hand by DeWitt. Still not sure where that blood is coming from. I haven't seen Sims turn around yet. I don't think it's from DeWitt.
it is interesting here, it's Robbie Sims who's walking in after DeWitt rather than boxing him. And landing some pretty good shots along the way.
Left hand catches Sims on the way in. I think that blood is coming from, believe it or not, from the chin of Robbie Sims. I think it's under his chin. I mean, I beg your pardon, of Doug DeWitt, not Robbie Sims.
Again, that hook landing to the head of Sims. If DeWitt can keep Robbie Sims in that kind of exchange and keep throwing those hooks, he'll do well. But Robbie landing his own shots in those exchanges.
A couple of good shots by DeWitt. That cut is not anything that will be any kind of a problem. It is literally under the chin where you'd be cut shaving. Good left hand, but he stepped to his right and hit him with the left hand. And a big right hand by Sims slows DeWitt as we come to the end of the second round, and a good round for both men.
DeWitt was able to get his left hook in even from odd postures like this one that landed on the left eye of Robbie Sims. What he's about to do there is crank up yet another one that landed. And for Doug DeWitt, that punch has been a very effective weapon.
It'll be interesting to see if he does, in fact, step to his left, as you pointed out. Sometimes, though, I guess it's actually easier to see for us sitting a step back from it than it is from Doug DeWitt.
Well, here in this head-to-toe shot, you see Sims trying to keep his right foot on the outside of the left foot of Doug DeWitt, and DeWitt trying to get it on the outside. So it's a cat-and-mouse game going on between the two, and look how often they end up stepping on each other's feet because of it.
I didn't see a big punch there, but I tell you, it looked like Sims' legs were giving out. And DeWitt hammers him in the corner. And there was a left hand. Now Sims is hurt.
DeWitt showing us the hand speed of old, and now Robbie Sims using some of his foot speed to get out of there. Now remember, and this is very important to remember, while Doug DeWitt is doing quite well here, he has a tendency to burn out after 6 or 7 rounds in some of these fights, depending on his conditioning.
Even now, he's breathing through his mouth, although I've seen him do that before.
So for him, he would love to get Robbie Sims out of there. One of the rare exceptions is when he fought Tony Thornton. DeWitt won with a rally at the end, but that's not the norm for him.
Tony Thornton, incidentally, in the crowd here tonight at the Showboat.
Thinking about fighting the winner, perhaps, after he had that tough loss to Kevin Watts.
He's another one of the good guys in boxing. Whether he admits he just wasn't the fighter he wanted to be that night. Sims with the left hand.
Good work underneath there by DeWitt. Robbie turning righty, now back to lefty. Like his brother Marvin, he does that often and pretty well.
Just a little short with that right hand.
Swelling around the right eye of Robbie Sims. Big problem for him, I think, potentially in this bout.
Sims.
And after Doug DeWitt was so successful with that left-hand hook, he's now walking to his right, not putting himself in a position where he can throw it, and not throwing it when he's got Sims on the ropes. Why would he do that?
Sims getting much the better of it.
And that's why Robbie Sims has come back a bit in this third round, even though it's still probably a pretty big round for Doug DeWitt.
There's a straight left hand, not the hook.
DeWitt's jab often underrated. He can throw it.
That was the hook a moment ago. He set down on that one pretty well. Now we'll take you back into the corner of Robbie Sims. Take a look at that swelling that Al talked about.
Look inside, Robbie.
Pat and Goody Petronelli, and it's good to see them again. They, of course, were the brain trust of marvelous Marvin Hagler, who was in attendance. There you go. They have a couple of young prospects that they're very high on.
Robbie.
Yeah. Inside. Your fight's inside with this guy. Flurry inside. Do those automatic shots. You get him every time. Jab's working for it. Don't pose. After you throw, get all snap and speed in your punches. He's slowing down a little bit now.
Yeah.
But inside.
Well, here's where Doug DeWitt had Robbie Sims in the corner, ripping body shots and head shots, landing some very good short left hands in there. Some of those are blocked. Robbie doing a real nice job there against the ropes of not getting hit flush too many times, but he was hit by some good shots. Interesting strategy by Goody Petronelli. They want Sims on the inside rather than the outside.
I'll tell you, I've always admired the work of Goody Petronelli in the corner. It's always a very organized corner. One man talks, for better or worse. That's the way it goes.
Come on, work on that guy. Come on, work on it. Get him down. Let him go, Dougie. Come on, Dougie, let him go.
Look at your card, Al, after the first 3 rounds.
Even though some of those rounds were kind of close, I have to give them to DeWitt. I think he has, by and large, done better work.
So a pattern developing here, and it's a pattern similar to the one that resulted in Sims' comeback victory the first time these two fought.
Now, Robbie is got his right jab on track. And DeWitt is helping him out a little bit by moving to his right, make it easy for him to throw it.
Quick right hand by DeWitt. And there was a headbutt.
I wonder if DeWitt didn't hurt his left hand. He is shaking it. And I'll tell you, if that's true, if he is not able to use that left effectively, both the jab and the hook, he's in trouble in this fight.
That's true. We'll keep an eye on that. And he still shakes his left hand, as you can see.
Now, it could be a ploy, of course, but I doubt it. Maybe he's trying to give Sims the idea that it's hurt.
And it isn't likely that a glove suddenly would slip or anything. You sometimes see a fighter do that early in the fight.
Not necessarily.
Doug DeWitt taking a deep breath.
These are those moments, whatever the reason, when Doug DeWitt does things that lets a fighter get right back into a fight that he is controlling.
And he is using that left hand, so.
Yeah, but he's using it very gingerly.
Yes,
Gary.
he is. Yes, he is.
We'll have to see, and he's throwing more rights. Yeah, see, he's throwing that right hand to the body more than the left. He's shaking his head. Doug DeWitt hurt his left hand.
I think you're right.
And he's making it so obvious that he's gonna just, this fight is gonna be thrown in Robbie Sims's lap, unless it hurts him so much he's having a feeling he shouldn't continue in this bout, which is possible. That would be unfortunate, because here we have two guys who are giving their all, and an injury like that would not be a good way for this bout to end.
Took a left hand from Sims that time. So we come down to the end of this round, and while we are away, we will eavesdrop here into the corner of Doug DeWitt and let you know what the conversations about his hand are. And we're in the corner of Doug DeWitt where there's no question he did hurt his hand. That's a nice catch, Al, on your part to see that early in that round. And basically what his people are telling him is forget about that hand, just go ahead and use the right hand. You got another hand. Of course, that's easy to say when it's not your hand that's hurting.
It really is, and I'll tell you, that's obviously hurting him so much that it's going to be very difficult for him to throw it at all, or maybe even continue in this bout.
Doug DeWitt only threw 14 hooks in round number 4, considerably down from the numbers he had in the first 3. It must have happened at the end of the second round, somewhere in there, I would have to think.
Maybe where it started. And I mean, it's a fantastic disadvantage to DeWitt. There he lands it off the top of Sims's head. Now, Sims, the jab, an important weapon for him, and he hasn't done that badly with the jabs in this fight. Fighting primarily as a lefty.
DeWitt, of course, is going to have to make do, it seems, with the right hand.
So now you have to say to yourself, you're Doug DeWitt, how can you make do with the right hand? Well, one way is maybe go on the inside with Sims where you can land the right uppercut and the right to the body a lot, where you don't have to be lunging with a straight right from the outside. There it is. Good idea, Doug.
Good idea, Al. Sims is hurt.
And it was the right uppercut that did it. If he can keep himself in a posture to throw it.
I think he's still hurt. Sims fought back with a right hand of his own. And there's a left hand by DeWitt and a right hand by Sims.
DeWitt has turned it into war for the same reason you would if you were cut. He's got to try and get Sims out of there. Sims fighting as a righty now.
Inside shot with the right hand again by DeWitt.
That uppercut, so good for DeWitt. It's an excellent punch, and now he's using it.
DeWitt just chasing Sims now. And it does appear he's trying to get Sims out of there if he possibly can.
And you have to know if his left hand's hurting, he just wants to stop the pain. You get the guy out of there, you can stop the pain. You don't have to throw the punch so much. It's figured to be entertaining, and it has been that. Definitely. You know, I would really liken this to a mini, and believe me, I'm not saying these fighters are on that level, a mini Hearns Leonard. You have two guys who are not exactly at the skill level they were before, but who match up just as well because of it.
That's a fair analogy. Of course, now it's compounded by the injury to Doug DeWitt's hand. And it makes it even more of a desperation situation than it was going into the fight, where the loser has got to think about what he's going to do next.
His credit has cranked up that left hook 4 or 5 times and landed it right on the head of Sims. So that has to hurt.
Showing a lot of guts is Doug DeWitt. Go into the corner of Robbie Sims.
This is Robbie. Want to try right-handed?
All right, Robbie. You're banging him, Robbie.
You gotta stay with the speed and don't go for the power. And all body point. That's when you look good. Good shot. You have to keep the pressure on the guy. You understand? All right?
Try a little right-handed.
You guys back his neck.
Try a little right-handed, Robbie.
A little right hand, Rob?
Okay. You're digging good.
That's how you find him more right.
Yeah.
Snap and speed. Don't worry about the power, Rob.
Yeah.
Well, Doug DeWitt found a home for this right uppercut. And I mean, that was an excellent punch. Still throwing the left hand, but he will get nailed by a right hook by Robbie Sims. That left landed right on the jaw to Robbie Sims, and DeWitt didn't wince that badly, so maybe that hand is workable.
So we start the 6th round of a fight with a lot of subplots here.
Oh boy, does it ever. And if we want to compare it to their previous outing a couple of years ago, you can easily make the point that Doug DeWitt was ahead then, he's ahead now, in my opinion. Let's see if he fades. And this time he has the added impairment of that injured left hand.
He is using it. Sims, incidentally, with the right hand a moment ago. And DeWitt got the better of that.
Good defense there by DeWitt, which it's amazing. You can see a different Doug DeWitt every fight. Some fights he has a great defense. Other fights it's atrocious. He doesn't mind taking punches on the chin and just dares you to hit him.
He's obviously just throwing caution to the wind as far as that left hand. Oh, and you can see him just wince when he threw that shot.
Dug it to the body.
Also takes a lot of energy. Just the pain.
DeWitt is a bad right-handed puncher. It's just that his genuine power comes from the hook. He's still doing well in this round, so we're into the 6th, and that stamina question with DeWitt remains a question because he's doing a lot of the aggressiveness. And interestingly, remember we heard the Petronelli say they wanted Sims on the inside. Not getting there against Sims.
DeWitt's just not letting him get there.
There's the uppercut.
Right uppercut.
Yeah, and you know, he's luring Sims in a position where he can throw that punch. Now, to add another subplot to it, Sims is fighting most of this round as a right-hander. And a warning to keep the punches up to DeWitt. That weren't too low.
It was the right hand by Sims, the left hand behind it, but it didn't have a lot on it.
DeWitt's left hooks still have some steam on it. They may be hurting him, but he's throwing them. And the right eye of Sims is really swelling shut.
As if to offset the left hand.
One cynical observer said the guy that will win this fight is the guy who has the best memory of how good he was. So far, Doug DeWitt's memory is better.
We come to the end of the 6th round. Doug DeWitt continues to hold his own against Robbie Sims despite a hand.
DeWitt may be hurting, but look, he's throwing those jabs and landing them against Robbie Sims.
And he starts round number 7 the same way with that left jab. And again, clashing of heads. That's happened 2 or 3 times, and there you see the warning from Cortez.
And that's not going to help Robbie Sims' right eye, much as those jabs by DeWitt won't help them.
There's a right hand by DeWitt. Total punches comparable.
I think DeWitt's have been much more effective, I mean, cleaner. Which makes you feel that in the judge's mind they may give him credit for more.
DeWitt just seems to be getting off a little bit quicker. This is the 7th round, the WBO Middleweight Championship. We're at the Showboat here in Atlantic City. Doug DeWitt, black trunks, white stripe. Robbie Sims in the blue. And it has been a fight that has been dictated by Doug DeWitt despite a very sore, perhaps broken left hand.
Come on, work out of there, come on. Work out.
And the right eye of Robbie Sims looking no better.
Overhand right by Sims. Robbie is not getting much behind those punches, but he is landing some. So he's made some of these rounds fairly close.
They're almost lunging kinds of punches. They really set down on them.
And that has been the one problem he's had throughout his career. That he does lunge with those punches. Now there, while DeWitt was looking for the right uppercut, Robbie Sims threw the right hook and got it in.
And now a little swelling under the right eye of Doug DeWitt, who comes back with a combination of his own.
Very interesting that as far as power is concerned, it's DeWitt's right hand now is the key weapon. That does place him at a disadvantage because you see when he lands them, they're not that devastating. But that is
the hook with the left hand, sore though it may be. Big shots being landed in this fight. 5-punch combination DeWitt.
And again, the right uppercut setting things up, and he's using that left hand very, very well now. He's saying, hey, this is my shot.
Crowd chanting, Robbie, Robbie. It's another good round for Doug DeWitt, who shows no signs right now of tiring in the least. Coming to the end of the 7th, big round for Doug DeWitt.
Like this, the left hand from Doug DeWitt may be hurt, but he is landing it, and that stunned Robbie Sims. You got the crowd into this bout.
All right, we go.
Good 7th round for DeWitt. Starts out the 8th the same way. DeWitt really fighting like a guy who feels he has something to prove.
Well, he is aware, as is Robbie, that a win is mandatory, even just to stay in the hunt. And the proof of that is the fact that even with the hand hurting and all the rest, he is keeping his concentration level at a certain peak. There's the jabs of Sims, not great for him, but look at the left hook, and that's maybe a tougher punch to land. Doug DeWitt is getting that in well and has continued to throw it.
And throw it with power.
The last round, he certainly threw it with power with that one. What he hasn't been able to do because it's hurting him is throw more jabs to it.
That could be too, depending on how he hurt the hand, but just the motion of the jab itself and how it lands might cause him more pain than a hook. That was a right hand by Sims. And DeWitt fights off the ropes and scored well.
Doug DeWitt at his best has very good hand speed. I tell you, the right eye of Sims is just completely shut. He didn't see that left hook. This is fascinating. Here's a guy with a right eye that's shut and a guy with the left hand that's hurt.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. One offsets the other.
If Doug DeWitt could will himself to keep throwing those hooks, he's almost bound to win this fight, which I thought at the beginning, but now with the right eye shut, it really is the case.
And there is a swelling of the right eye, as you mentioned, of Doug DeWitt as well, but it's nowhere near as bad as Sims.
That right eye of Sims is the kind that could maybe even stop this fight in the near future, next round or two. Or make him quit even. Or make his corner stop the fight.
The scoring thing about Robbie Sims is he still has a propensity to lunge, and that's something you would think is a pretty basic fault that you have to think he has to at least be aware of.
Well, he is, and at some fights he controls it, and others he doesn't.
Sims fighting on instinct now with that right eye, as you mentioned, just completely shut. And there was a big right hand.
That hurt DeWitt.
That hurt him badly.
He's
very wobbly, and Sims now moves in to try to finish it. DeWitt is still hurt.
The once invincible chin of Doug DeWitt, not so invincible these days.
DeWitt is still wobbly with 15 seconds left. Tries to fight back. Some snap is gone now, but he did get a left hook in. Marvin Hagler, you can see in the background right behind Joe Cortez, on his feet as he has been. That's Hagler in a shirt with a tie. And he is fighting this fight for Robbie Sims, and Doug DeWitt gets through the round. And both men, when they look in the mirror tomorrow, are going to remember what tonight was like.
Staying with the program, you're not throwing your right hand. You bullshitted that round.
Is he into this fight or what?
I think he is.
Wow. He's fought a fight outside the ring.
When you get him in tight, call it overhand. Jab and overhand.
All right, give me a clean round.
All right. All right? Jab and overhand left.
Yep.
Those are power
Get him hit.
Hey, he hit you once, you hit him
They
twice.
want the overhand right from Sims.
Right.
Now,
Let's get to
you're Doug DeWitt. Why would you move to your right? He's moving to the right. He gets hit with that overhand right. That isn't the one that really hurt him badly.
Right hand looping over the top.
He's moving to his right, Barry, giving Sims, who can't see out of his right eye.
Seconds out.
Baby. Come on.
And has been the whole fight, as you mentioned.
Right hand under, right hand over.
Doug DeWitt landed 66% of his punches in that last round.
And I'm sure a good part of that is because Robbie Sims can't see them coming. There was a right hand by Sims.
Now, Doug DeWitt's moving to his right. You explain the logic to me in that. Against a guy who cannot see out of his left eye and who you keep nailing with left hooks.
There is no line.
That's ludicrous.
Your card.
I've got DeWitt ahead by a lot. I think he's really dominated this fight. Even the last round I gave to him.
And you saw the left hand obviously painting Doug DeWitt now.
Now, they're telling DeWitt to throw his right hand. That's okay. He could still take a step to his left and throw that right hand, at least to get away from the overhand right.
Joe Cortez again tells DeWitt that is about a headbutt. DeWitt wants to work inside now so that he can work the right hand, work the uppercut. Tries to throw that jab with the left hand. It obviously is really painting him. Still a ways to go here. Remember, this is 12 rounds.
Nice combination by DeWitt. Robbie Sims in this round has had the better of things because he has thrown that overhand right, that right hook very well.
Good fight, though.
It's been very entertaining.
We've seen a couple of good fights tonight.
It's ironic that the Petronellis want Sims on the inside, and DeWitt probably would want to be there as well. Neither man really getting there effectively.
There was the right hand by DeWitt. Back Sims off. There was the uppercut.
When he lets Sims come in, that's illegal, the pushing of the head down by DeWitt. When he lets Sims come in and counter punches, DeWitt is very effective.
Sims again. DeWitt trying to fight off the ropes with both hands.
And looking as ever for the right uppercut.
So Sims with a right eye that is closed, literally, and DeWitt with a hand that is very likely broken, a left hand.
And I'll tell you, though, DeWitt's landed 4 or 5 terrific left hooks in this round.
So we come to the end of this round. Time running out for this man, but this man with a look at the keys to victory. Remember them?
Well, he has pushed Sims back a lot and was throwing the left hook to the body, and that really has done it, even though it's hurt. The jab of Sims not as effective as he would like. The moving and the punching, he has moved, but I don't think he's punched as much as he wanted to.
And we are set to go. Round number 10. We're going 12s.
Now, there is a very bad cut over the left eye of Doug DeWitt, and there was an official notification that came from a clash of heads. They would go to the scorecards if this fight is stopped because of that cut.
And again, a warning is drawn by Sims. It is a pretty serious cut. Again, Sims comes in with his head.
And you know what's interesting right now for Doug DeWitt? It would be better for him if they stop this fight right now because of that cut. You have to think he's ahead on the scorecard.
Absolutely.
He may not be, but I think he is.
And Sims continues to butt him with the head. It would be a disputed verdict, I'm sure, but it would be the correct verdict.
Well, because they did indicate it was a clash of heads, not even necessarily a butt, but a clash of heads. Of course, we're well past the point where they would go to the cards.
And you can see how that's happening because Sims comes in with his head.
Yeah, Robbie does do that. There's no question.
DeWitt doing some good work on a big right hand in. It was set up by the left. And Sims fights off the corner.
On the inside, Doug DeWitt can do some excellent work.
It is a nasty cut alongside the left eye of Doug DeWitt. There's an uppercut.
There's the posture where he can get that uppercut in. He needs to just bull his way in, not even land punches coming in, and just be in a position to throw the punch to it. Robbie has got to get back to that overhand right if he can find it. It's his big weapon, and it's the one weapon that may be able to slow DeWitt up and work on that cut.
DeWitt doing a good job of fighting off the ropes.
Excellent job. Marvin Hagler in the background hasn't sat down, I don't think, for this entire fight.
No, he's gone 12, or he will go 12.
Now, if you're sitting behind him, would you have the nerve to tell him to sit down?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
right.
think I would.
If you called him sir, maybe.
Yes, please. Well, this really is a fight of two warriors. They're not absolutely at their prime, that's for sure. But they're giving it all they have.
And as you said, they just match up perfectly with one another.
Partially because their skills are a little eroded. They may be eroded, but they're not absent completely.
Oh, no, you look at these two and you have a feeling they could probably handle, as DeWitt pounds Sims, probably handle a good number of the middleweights around now. In fact, I'd go as far as saying most.
Robbie Sims taking a bad beating now from DeWitt. His face is really puffed up.
Cortez taking a long look. This one may not be far from over. The round ends before Cortez can step in and stop things. 2 rounds to go for the title. We'll be back.
Finish to the end of that last round by DeWitt. The uppercut, very effective. Nice move where he spins away. And then Robbie Sims in the corner. DeWitt just kept nailing him with lefts and rights. And Joe Cortez taking a long look, as you said, Barry, thinking maybe of stepping in.
And I have an idea that Joe Cortez is not going to go too far with this. A good left hand by Sims to start this 11th round.
Well, he's got to make something very big happen. Now, that was the first part in the fight where you really felt one man was close to really putting the other guy in big trouble.
On your card, Al, no contest.
I've got DeWitt ahead 98-92. It may be closer on the judges, but boy, I just really can't imagine how DeWitt wouldn't be ahead. These are both guys who have had decision losses that they thought were very inappropriate. They've both been in a lot of close decisions, some draws. Here they are again. Although in this case, I think it's DeWitt ahead.
Let's take a look at the total punches thrown in round number 10. Again, Doug DeWitt throwing an inordinate amount of punches, 77. Very high number.
And landing quite a few, the 33. And a lot of those were big shots. I mean, those real crunching uppercuts and good left hooks. Very few jabs because his hand is hurting. And I don't think he wants to throw that punch as much.
But he's almost just throwing caution.
Think of what he's still doing, though, and I don't understand it. And they're yelling, Dougie. The crowd into it on behalf of Doug DeWitt. Still think Doug DeWitt should be moving to his left.
Both these men will warrant a standing ovation, I'll tell you that. This, as you mentioned, has been really a case of two gladiators.
Courageous effort. Right now, DeWitt really has the upper hand.
And again, a headbutt.
Well, at this point, that won't help Sims at all because there's no way he could win this fight if it stopped that way, I don't think.
Good work in the corner of Doug DeWitt on that cut because it is a pretty nasty cut, and it's, even though it's deep, it's not bleeding.
When you look at an effort like this, and lots of what he's done has been excellent, you're again forced to say, why doesn't Doug DeWitt fight this way in every fight?
But he also answered all the questions about conditioning.
He's in very good condition. He's throwing most of the punches here.
Because he has been hurt by his own left hand, and that just takes a lot out of him. In addition to the punishment that he's taken from Sims.
And there have been punches landed by Robbie Sims. There's no doubt about that. Some big ones, and he had DeWitt hurt 3 or 4 rounds ago.
DeWitt fighting a very smart fight now. Took a right hand, overhead right that time.
But the punches Sims are landing, really not having too much impact, and they're not that hard. They're all arm punches.
And again, the blood starts from the left eye of Doug DeWitt. Oh, there's a right hand by Sims, but it didn't hurt him. As you mentioned, not a lot of snap anymore. And DeWitt stays busy and gets out of there.
Bloody but unbowed for sure, that man.
It is pretty, but it is effective.
All right, baby. Finish strong. Don't get careless. 3 minutes and you're the champion. Don't get careless.
Good advice, I'd say.
Last round. Dougie, last round coming up.
Okay, Joe. Come on, Dougie. Dougie finished big. He's going to try to knock you out this round. Come on, baby. You're champ of the world.
Right hand under, right hand over the top.
You got to knock him out to win.
The overhands, you can do everything. Work him.
Look at Marvin Hagler, and the man he's looking at right here, Robbie Sims, his brother.
Come on, Robbie.
This is it.
Go ahead, Robbie. Give it everything you got. Don't stop.
All right.
Here, wait a minute.
Understand?
Go ahead, Robbie. Go ahead.
On your side. You need it now.
This is the 12th and final round. Crowd on its feet here, and that's something you don't see very often, especially here in Atlantic City. Knowledgeable boxing folk here.
Can't think of a better way to close out our 9th anniversary show with a superb fight in a 12th round where it may be on the line, at least in the sense of Robbie Sims having to do something dramatic to win as you look at it. I'd be remiss if I didn't say, Barry, it's been a pleasure working with you these recent months, and a pleasure working with our producer, Ken Dennis, who put those wonderful pictures to the highlights to the song that Tony wrote, and also to Gary Clem, our fine director. I'd like it to be another 9 more years with all of us.
I feel the same way, actually. It is family. A lot of miles on airplanes, and a lot of strange places sometimes. A lot of laughs. Logan Hobson, Bob Canobio, the folks who bring you the numbers on Punch Profile, which make us look real smart sometimes.
They help me on many occasions. Bail me out, I should say. And what we get to see is good boxing action like this. And for Doug DeWitt, the key, they said it to him, don't get careless. Don't be doing things that could get you knocked out.
DeWitt fighting a very heady fight, actually.
I think Sims' mouthpiece went flying. It is either his or DeWitt's. Somebody's mouthpiece ended up in the first row.
I think it was Sims.
It wasn't Joe Cortez's, I'm sure.
I don't believe so. It might have been his teeth. Now here's a case where they don't stop the fight to put the mouthpiece back in. Earlier tonight in the fight, they did stop it.
I don't know if Joe Cortez saw that mouthpiece go. But I believe it was Sims. No, Doug DeWitt may be just about a minute away from some kind of boxing redemption and a new lease on his boxing life.
Well, he was very, very disappointed when he lost to Sunwood Colombe. That was a fight he said he really felt he was in great shape. He had no excuses. He thought he was going to win.
And somewhere out there, Michael Nunn, the IBF middleweight champion, perhaps taking a look at a possible opponent, maybe looking at Doug DeWitt now, or the winner of this fight, which I think will beat DeWitt if he stays standing. He's getting nailed with a couple shots there.
But doing a little nailing of his own in return. A fitting finish to a very exciting fight.
Something about these anniversary shows always produces a good battle.
Robbie Sims, but too little, too late. And the crowd is going to let you know everything you need to know about this one. Marvin Hagler cheering as though he really feels his brother won this fight.
I would be shocked if it were so. Both of those men have, I think, on occasion probably seen decisions go the other way that maybe didn't deserve to, but especially Robbie. But I don't think this is one of them. If it goes to Doug DeWitt, I think it deservedly goes to him.
Very, very good fight. Two warriors.
And a very courageous effort by both men, because the right eye closed for Robbie Sims, the left hand presumably hurt by Doug DeWitt. We assume it was, and they fought through that pain and those impairments to give us a very good show.
And so we await the decision now.
Michael Buffer trying to expedite the officials in giving him the decision. They're not quite ready. And as you said it right at the outset, and it's a storyline we've continued throughout the show, and it's true, for one of these guys, maybe him, and maybe him, although I doubt it, as Doug DeWitt has a few words with Marvin Hagler, it'll be on to the, perhaps, the boxing retirement list.
And we are set to go with the decision. Let's go to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the official scoring. We have a split decision.
Oh, my.
Eva Shane scores the bout 115 to 113 for Robbie Sims.
Wow.
Lynn Carter scores at 116 to 112 for Doug DeWitt. And John Stewart scores the bout 115 to 113 for the winner of this WBO middleweight championship, Doug the Cobra DeWitt.
Well, it almost seems like poetic justice. It did seem actually like it was a little more lopsided than that. But a tough fight.